Joining us now on the show is the president and founder of Good Shepherd Catholic Radio, Doug Shumard. Hi, Doug.
Thank you for having me here today.
Yeah, welcome to the show. A long time in the making, and I think a long dream of yours to bring Catholic radio station to Jackson.
It has been an amazing trip. My wife was first to come to Catholic radio. She started listening to Ave Maria probably 15 or 16 years ago, and we fell in love with it. She fell in love with it first, then she drew me into it, and we discovered what a huge difference it made to our faith. As Catholics, as Christians for that matter, we're strong in our faith in our youth, and as the hair gets a little bit grayer, sometimes we tend to forget those things that we've learned about the faith. And the beauty of Catholic radio is that it is the kind of thing that brings us back. It provides an opportunity for us to relearn some of those things we've lost. It's continuing education for the faith, and it's a powerful tool, and it's powerful for, like I said, for Catholics and all Christians for that matter. It's beautiful broadcasting. We're broadcasting right now EWTN. We're bringing in and through Ave Maria out of Ann Arbor. So we broadcast 24/7 everything that EWTN sends us from Birmingham, Alabama. So it's professionally produced, it's beautiful programming, well done. It's news and talk. We have probably 6 hours a day of phone-in question and answer issues, open to both Catholic and non-Catholic alike. So this is just not for Catholics, but it's a huge help. It's been a tremendous help to me. We started, I think I met you probably, I've known you for a long time, but you and I got together about 4 years ago. I had a cup of coffee and I picked your brain a little bit to decide how in the world does anybody ever buy a radio station? And that was the first challenge, was finding something that was available. Fortunately, we found Malachi Crane at Spring Arbor University, and finally came to an agreement, purchased a station from him. And what that really was a station license and not anything other than that.
No equipment, no tower.
We didn't get a paper clip. We didn't get, all we got was the paper license. And then from there, we built the station. And first, we had to go find a tower. And that was also a challenge. So it all came together. We found the tower. I had sent, interestingly enough, an email to each of the pastors in the Jackson area. And I had met with each of them for years before and had conversations about what we were doing and what we were trying to make happen. And they're all very supportive. And in my phone call to each of these pastors, I left each a message saying, Good Shepherd is getting very, very close to going on the air. We filed our paperwork at the FCC, but we need an address. We need a home. I'll take a closet, anything you have. If you've got room in an abandoned classroom, if you have any room in the rectory, if you have a closet, we'll take it. That'll be our address. We need something to get us started. Every pastor in town had an answer. Every pastor had something for us. Father Jim Shaver at St. John's had the convent at St. Joe's. The Catholic School Consortium was housed in the convent. They moved to Lumen Christi, which made that building available to us. We made that our studio. And you should stop by and see the equipment. It's
I've seen
place.
Some of the photographs.
Yeah.
I know you've been posting them, but it's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress, but I got to tell you, we have a double 5 anniversary coming up. This month we celebrate our 5th month anniversary of being on the air. So we are brand new. And I think very successful in those 5 months. It's great programming. We're getting a lot of good response by way of written note, telephone calls, conversations on the street with folks who just love what they're hearing. And it's also, next month is our 5th year anniversary of the very first meeting we had with 20 strangers in a factory conference room to discuss do we want to, as a team, go out and bring Catholic radio to Jackson and Lansing? So in that meeting, and again, it was not everybody in there knew one another. We met pretty much over the phone. We found so-and-so might be interested. We add that to the list. We finally got these 20 folks together, and before we left that 1-hour meeting, we had a board of directors nominated and put in place. And like I said, that was 5 years ago. It took us about 4.5 years to really get close to being on the air with the station. But during that 4.5 years, this board of directors met every other Tuesday. The board meeting was every other Tuesday for 4.5
Wow.
years. Now, how many boards of directors can you think of that would be that dedicated? So we had a very, very dedicated board that stuck with it, got us on the air, and every single day, I and we say thanks be to God, because He's the one that got us here. And
You also had to get the church, the permission from the bishop to call yourself a Catholic radio station.
very interesting. Yeah, that was one of the first contacts I made once we started really getting involved in this, or even thinking about getting involved. Is I made a phone call to Mike Diebold, the director of communication for the Diocese of Lansing. And I asked Mike if there's anybody in the area that's working on Catholic radio. If there is, I want to join them. And if there's not, please take my name and phone number. And if somebody else asks you the same question, have them call me. I'd like to help them. So, and I also asked him to pass this along to the bishop, because I wanted the bishop to know what we were up to. And so he did that for us. And early on, I met with the bishop and have had a number of conversations in his office, face to face. So he knows exactly what we're doing, and he's very, very supportive of it.
You're on AM and FM right now.
We are on AM and FM, 1510 AM, 93.3 FM. And the FM is 24/7, crystal clear. We serve about 260,000 folks. Obviously, not all of them are listening, but that's the base. About 260,000. All of Jackson County, which is probably about 140,000 of that. The balance, the difference between the 140 and the 160,000, is that we touch 7 other counties other than Jackson County. So we bleed into 7 other counties, which brings our total up to about 260,000 folks.
You actually bill yourself as a Jackson Lansing station.
We bill ourselves as a Jackson station. Our name is Jackson Lansing Catholic Radio, doing business as Good Shepherd Catholic Radio. We knew in the very beginning that we wanted to serve both Lansing and Jackson, and that was why we hung the name Jackson Lansing Catholic Radio on it. We knew eventually we would come up with a Christian name to be part of the radio station, but we, as a board, couldn't agree on what that name should be. It took us a number of years to finally decide that Good Shepherd was perfect for us. So yes, we are Jackson Lansing Catholic Radio, and we are still dedicated to bringing something on the air in Lansing. So that is on our list of things to do.
Now, EWTN is a television
Network.
Cable channel.
Yes.
Do you simulcast what's on the television, or is it?
That's an interesting question. We, back in 1997, Mother Angelica, who was the foundress of EWTN, Eternal Word Television, she decided that radio was where they wanted to be. And so they started to do radio programming at EWTN. And then she made an announcement that, this is 1997, that she would make her radio broadcast available to anybody who would buy or lease a radio station. And she would make that available at no cost. And about that time, Tom Monahan, about a year before she made this offer, he had just started 990 WDEO in Ann Arbor as a Catholic radio station. It wasn't called Ave Maria at that point. So Tom Monahan took advantage of Mother Angelica's offer, as did at that point about 6 other small Catholic stations across the country. And so that's where Mother Angelica made the offer. That was accepted by a number of folks. And I now have a picture of Mother Angelica in my office along with her signal coming in. In answer to your question, though, a number of the programs that EWTN broadcasts and provides to us is the audio of some of their television programming. And some of that works beautifully, and others not so beautifully because on the television side, they're holding up a book as they're making a comment, and then as you get that as a radio program, they're talking about the book they're holding up, and so you use your imagination a bit there.
Sure.
But for the most part, the professional programming is done by Ave Maria in Ann Arbor. Ave Maria is the single largest producer of Catholic programming in the country, and they provide a number of shows to EWTN for EWTN to make available to their there's 300 Catholic radio stations across the country right now that are fed by EWTN. So it's a significant number.
Do you have any plans or hope to have local content?
We, right now, we consider the community calendar items that we do local. Okay. So right now, that's local. We do plan, knock on wood, to have the kids involved in a rosary program on a regular basis. So we're making plans to do that. We will have more and more local as we go along. But right now, we're trying to get our feet on the ground and learn how to spell radio, if you'll excuse me. We're novices. We have 2 people working in our studio full-time. Our engineer, Dan Curis from St. Mary's here in Jackson, and myself. We're full-time, 9 to 5, 5 days a week. And we both make exactly the same amount of money. 0. We are both full-time volunteers, so we have no paid help whatsoever at this point, and that'll help us pay the bills.
What do you need to be successful?
Well, we need a great fundraising team, which I'm trying to recruit now, because as a nonprofit 501c3, the secret is fundraising, and that's not one of my gifts. It's something that I've never been involved in, but something that we'll put together a team and make happen. But for right now, our donors, thank God for our dedicated donors, are providing great help to us. We have a wonderful listening audience who's making some wonderful comments about us, and that'll make us grow. So we continue to pray, and we'll continue to grow. We will get bigger. We want to expand our signal into Jackson, and we still want to get into Lansing. We want to do both of those.
And you've got bumper stickers, and
we do. We have bumper. We remind people those are magnets because, like me, many people don't want anything sticking to the back of their car because those things are so difficult to get off when you finally want to take them off. The magnets are interesting because if you're not careful when you go through the car wash, you'll lose it. Mm-hmm. But each time I go through the car wash, I ask them if they have any hanging in their office that they've picked up, and usually I can pick up 3 or 4 and put back in my collection. So rather than consider that as a negative, I'll make a positive out of it.
Does Ave Maria, because I know you talked to Tom Monahan when you first got this going,
yeah.
And being so close to Ann Arbor, they're willing to have you be next
Ave
door?
Maria was fabulous. Ave Maria, their signal touches a very small part of the eastern part of the Lansing diocese. They just barely bleed in, but they were extremely helpful to us in getting started. So yeah, Ave Maria has been great. They were with us from the very beginning, and were willing to give us any advice that we wanted, and anything we asked for, they were there. They've been fabulous.
If someone wants to help, you probably have volunteer opportunities as well as fundraising.
Absolutely, we've got lots of volunteer opportunities, and we have a website, GSCR, the initials of Good Shepherd Catholic Radio, gscr.org. And there's tons of information on there. If anybody's interested in volunteering, I would suggest they take a peek at that website. And always give me a call at the office, which is 513-3340. That's at the studio. And be glad to chat with them and answer any questions that they might have.
It's amazing. I didn't realize how many Catholic radio stations there are. Just in Michigan, there's more than a dozen, right?
Yeah, we made it 14. Okay. Our 2 that just came up made it 14. Baraga Broadcasting is in northern Michigan. That's part of what got my wife and I going. Baraga Broadcasting in northern Michigan is one of the broadcasters, and then Holy Family out of Grand Rapids, and now they've moved into both Battle Creek and Kalamazoo. So Holy Family's expanded. And then Ave Maria over on the east side of the state, and then Good Shepherd here in Jackson.
And on the AM dial, you're at 1510.
1510 AM, 93.3 FM.
You know, I might have some old 1510 hats you could have.
You know what? If you can find anything in your attic, we'll accept any donations, including old hats.
Okay, I'm sure I do. I'll take a look. And on the FM dial,
93.3.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on your 55 anniversary.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And look forward to tuning in and hearing Catholic Radio in Jackson.
Tune in and stay in touch.
All right. Thanks, Doug.
Bart, thank you.
Appreciate it. The president and founder of Good Shepherd Catholic Radio, Doug Shumard.